Ready to take your Clo designs to the next level? Learn how to add pleats with ease in Clo3d. Hi, I'm Christina and I love to digitally pattern draft, creating unique pieces of wearable art. And I am super excited today to do a deep dive into the Add Pleats tool in Clo3d. If you enjoy videos like this, please make sure to like and subscribe so that you can see other fun ways to digitally draft and maybe even create your own amazing pieces of wearable art. So let's get started by bringing up my drafting board. And now that I have it brought up, we're gonna dive on in. The first thing I want to go over is the location of this tool. You can find this tool right here on the right hand toolbar in the 2D tools. We are going to be using this. We have done a deep dive in the fold tool and the sewing tool. When you are putting in the pleats yourself or you're having it do it, it actually does all that for you, which is amazing. So let's go ahead and dive in. So for the very first one here, I am going to go ahead and add 3 knife pleats to the front. We'll do knife pleats on the front and we will do box pleats on the back. So I'm going to go ahead and select that tool. And again, what's really great with Clo3d is if it is a multi-step process, once you're clicked on the tool, you can see that it will also then tell you what the next step is that you need to do. For example, on this one, it says click on a segment or internal line to add the pleats. So I'm going to start by clicking on this and I'm going to go down to my hem. Now I can go straight down, but because this is an A line, that's going to cause some funkiness on it. So I'm actually going to go closer to what the side seam would be so that as it relaxes down, it will be able to relax better. So I'm going to click there. Next, as you can see, it now says select side to pleat. So I can either select this side or this side. And as you can see, the light blue is hovering over the side that you're going to select. I always like to keep the center of my garments as close to normal as possible. I always like to select the one that's a little bit further out. And then that brings up this pop-up box. I'm just going to move the pop-up box a little bit over to the side so we can kind of see what's happening. So it gives you lots of different options of what you want. You can knife pleat, box pleat, or accordion pleat. I'm going to start this one with some knife pleats. I'm going to do 3 knife pleats, and as I bump this up, you can see it's actually moving it out for me. So I can also do a start and end. So I want a 1 to 1 and it does the interval. So you can do a whole bunch of different stuff with this to make it change. So I could do a 2-inch interval. Oh, I don't have quite enough room to do that. So we're going to not worry about that. I bet if I did 2 and I did a 2-inch interval, that's making it so that there is 2 inches between each of my knife pleats. So this is a really great tool because you can play around with it and it's actually giving you the live action of what you're trying to do. So I'm going to put this back down to 1 because we're going to do 3 knife pleats in the front, just like so. And then once you're happy with it, we're going to go ahead and hit OK. It's going to take a second to think about it and get it all set up for you. And then once it's there, you can actually go in and you can see that it has the sewing done for you of how the knife pleats should work. So if we kind of hover over, you can see how it's dividing it all up. The next thing I'm going to do is, especially when you have pleats, I always like to reset that 3D design. That way, when it actually bumps in, it will actually go in much nicer. The other thing I like to do is bring my particle distance down to at least 10. I'm going to go down to 7. Just because pleats of how they're going to want to angle and everything, it's going to make it lay better and easier if you have that particle distance down a little bit to start with. So let's go ahead and simulate it as it pops in. There we go. We can take a nice look at it as it's falling down. Pop it back out and let it relax back down. Got some knife pleats going on there. We do have a little bit of twisting happening, but for the most part, they're laying beautifully and the way that I would want. So that is how easy it is to add in pleats. So we did the knife pleats. Let's go ahead and see what it would look like. Let me stop simulating. But let's see what it would look like to add a box pleat in the back. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go down at the angle. I'm going to choose the side I want to pleat to. I'm going to choose a box pleat. I'm going to choose a 1-to-1 box pleat. You can see it giving me its example. Now the one thing with this, if I was really zoomed in, I cannot zoom in or out once this other pop-up is open. So if you wanted to be able to see the full thing, you would have to zoom out before you bring up the pop-up. Just something to kind of note, that if you want to see it, make sure you zoom out. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. It kind of does some weird funky stuff because it's adding stuff. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to reset those 3D arrangements, and I'm going to pull those out like so. And we're going to resimulate it. And there we have it. It is nicely folding in on each side. That center seam looks to be a little more pointed than I'd like. Oh, the one thing that I forgot is I actually have not brought down the particle distance of these two pattern pieces. So let's go ahead and bring those down to 7. We'll resimulate. That you can see it relax just a little bit more. That's making that go much nicer there. And right now the pleats are actually pulling open quite a bit, which probably means I have a little bit of a fit issue going on. So that would be something you definitely want to look at, because it's just pulling so much right there. If I wanted to like sew down 6 inches, I could do a stitch to this part. Now, if I wasn't 100% sure which line I would want to sew on, I can actually start here. We're gonna start down here. Well, okay. If I wasn't 100% sure, because right here it's right now it's hitting on the top part of, it's hitting on my bodice. As you can see on the right hand screen, the little teal dot. So as I pop down, it's now popping down onto that line. So I know that's the line I want to go to. So then I'm going to go into my 2D window, and I'm going to do let's do a 5-inch line. Then we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. It gives me that dot. We can simulate it, and it's going to pull that together. So that has a nice little box pleat right there. Look at how cute that is. I absolutely love that. So again, that is how easy it is to actually add pleats, whether they are knife pleats or box pleats, in Clo3d. It does a lot of the work for you, especially if you have it kind of dialed into like a base of what you want. You can then just expand it out and it will create it for you. It is amazing. I absolutely love doing pleats in Clo3d. If you have any questions, please write down in the comments what you would love to see more about pleats in Clo3d. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe so that you can see other fun ways to digitally pattern draft and create your own wearable art. I look forward to seeing you in some of my other videos. Happy patterning!